Hello, you little YouTubers. This is your friend, Velma Hagar. And here's looking at you, kid. Now, this is not coffee. I'm going to tell you what it is. On days like today, it's cloudy and dreary, and there's nothing like a cup of hot tea. And so you may as well make it part of your medicine. So what I have in here is I have green tea, and I put a half of a Myers lemon in there. Now, I use Myers lemon because it is sweeter. And I put the whole thing in here because those lemon oils are so healthy. And not only that, I used Manuka honey to sweeten it with. Now, Manuka honey is medicine in itself. But you know, when you get Manuka honey, and this isn't an advertisement for Manuka honey, but I want to share this with you because it's important. Anytime you feel sick, take a teaspoon of Manuka honey and put it into a glass of water with hot, warm water so it'll melt or dissolve. And maybe a little lemon with it. And drink it down. Manuka honey has so many healing properties. And you don't just get regular, like if you look at a Manuka honey jar, every one of them have a number right on the front, anywhere from 10 to 80. The higher the number, the more healing properties are in the honey. And the higher the number, the more expensive the jar costs. And an 80, which I always buy, the ones with the 80, you're probably going to pay $30 for a fairly small jar of Manuka honey, but it's worth its weight in gold. And it does make a wonderful cup of tea. Yep. That's good, hot or cold. I always drink it hot. If it cools off, it's still good. Now, today we're going to talk about, probably you're not going to want to hear this today. There are some things in your life that are so broken, they will never be put back together. They're just, there's no hope for reviving them. Now, God can and does do miracles, but generally speaking, there are things that are just never going to be different. And you know what you do in a case like that? You don't whine and ask God, why me, God? No, forget it. You know, we all have these things in our life. And remember, there's consequences to everything. Sometimes these things are brought about by your own things that you did. You created it. Other times it's brought about by the will of others. And that will, you can pray, and sometimes God will change their will, but sometimes they won't budge. And when that happens, it's not going to work for you to pray. Pray anyway. Don't give up on prayer. And sometimes it's just the fallen man syndrome that caused it. It has nothing to do with you or anybody else. It's just the way things are in the world right now. The culture we live in. So what I want to do is encourage you, when you see those things in your life that are probably going to be there, I want you to embrace them, so to speak, to say, all right, God, help me live with this. This is what I've been dealing with for my eyes. Probably I was 58 when I got it, 68, so for 22 years, I'm believing God for healing in my eyes. And I'm going to keep believing Him. I'm not going to give up. But in the meantime, 22 years, I might have to live with this. I'm 80. I might have to go home to God and have these eyes be like this. But you know what? I'm not going to let that stop me. Nor should you let anything stop you from doing as much as you can do. Just keep going. Just keep forging ahead as best you can. I was telling someone, this gal that cleans house for me, she has this horrible shoulder pain. And it seems like there's nothing they can do for it. She's had the steroid shots, and of course she can get surgery eventually, but when she does, she's going to lose her business because she has a little business of cleaning houses. But she may have to do that, and that may work, and it may not. Surgery is not 100%. She may have to live with it. So I told her the other day, I said, Rosalba, just live with it. Do the best you can do. Just do the best you can do and live with it. until something changes, because it may never change. You may have to deal with this the rest of your life. And I always remember this little story. And I don't know if this is going to kind of correlate with what I'm talking about, kind of, but you know me, you never know what I might say next. And I just thought of this. As you know, when I first got divorced, I got this little Mercedes that I kept for 13 years. And that little sucker, it ran like a top for 13 years. But it had this little fragile thing that when I would try to start it, not every time, but every once in a while, the starter would spin. And I always fretted over that. Oh my gosh, I needed to get that fixed. But I knew it was going to be very expensive to get it fixed, because Mercedes were expensive to work on, and I didn't have a warranty on it. So one day my friend said to me, don't worry about it. He said, that thing may spin like that, and you may never have to fix it. Don't even worry about it. Fix it if it breaks. And I have to tell you, that car, I had it for 13 years, and I never had to fix that starter. It always did that. So I just learned to live with it. And you know what? It was okay. And it's the same thing with other things in your life. Stop fighting and struggling and flopping around like a fish out of water. Just say, you know what? God knows your needs. You've asked, right? You've asked that it would be removed. So now, do the best you can do with it there and move on with life. Somebody really needs to hear this. Somebody really needs to hear it. I mean, it could be a husband that you love, but he's got some trait that you just hate. You know what? He may never change. You may have to just accept him and love him just like he is. It could be anything you're dealing with. It could be a child that has an obnoxious way about him, personality. God knew him before he was born. So, learn to love them the way they are. Love yourself the way you are, and accept your human frailties. Because I think in the end, that's what we're talking about, is human frailties. We all have them. We all have issues in our life that may never go away, every one of us. And we all need to just embrace it and move on and not let it stop us. Don't let it stop you. Just move on. So shut up, get up, dress up, and show up. I just had to throw that in there. I love that little line. Get up, dress up, and show up. Don't you love it? All right, there you go. And I didn't get even one new follower off of my last video. And y'all watched it pretty good too. You watched it, but nobody hit subscribe. Would you hit subscribe right now and buy my doggone books? You know what was really interesting today? I'm always touting my new book, Dark Places, but my little secret places here, or hidden treasures in secret places, always has what I'm talking about. Today, on the 4th, it actually talked about what we're talking about. Or was it yesterday? Anyway, I'm going to make you read it yourself. Read these books. They're fabulous. I mean, they bless me every day. And everybody else tells me they bless them too. Hidden Treasures in Dark Places and Hidden Treasures in Secret Places. One is as good as the other. So get your little books out and read them. Or, better yet, order them from Amazon if you haven't got them. Good grief, they're so good. All right, you guys. I always have to do my little ad at the bottom. And hit like. And send this to a friend. Hey, how about you send my videos to a friend that needs encouragement? My videos are pretty doggone encouraging. So somebody that say, you know what, I'm going to send one of Elma's videos to so-and-so. Would you do that for me? Let's get me up to 1,000. My God, I'm just chugging. All right, you guys, I love all of you. You're the best. So until next time, this is Velma Hagar bidding you a blessed day and telling you to accept those things you cannot change. Bye.